answers? I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work. When you go to church. When you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Was the hood actually created by the government to oppress people? Watch
I believe
this.
the idea of the project or the hood is a byproduct of MK Ultra. For one, these places are hundreds or even thousands of miles apart. The hood in Atlanta is like the hoods in LA, which are like the hoods in Chicago, which are like the hoods in New York. How can you be hundreds and thousands of miles apart but yet so similar? It's the same mentality and the same activities. Well, before the proliferation of phones, you had rap music. And a lot of rap music, they promote alcoholism. Alcohol suppresses the central...
Listen.
Just like the drugs that were administered in MK Ultra. One of the researchers, his name was Donald Cameron, and his two main techniques were deep patterning and psychic driving. Now, with psychic driving, he would play these short phrases over and over and over again, just like a hook, over and over and over again. But he would also administer them a sedative. He would give them a sedative to make the hook more long-lasting. His whole goal was to break down the identity, because with the identity comes the defenses. And if somebody has the defenses up, you can't control them. You can't use mind control on them. And the whole goal of MK Ultra was to discover different mind control techniques, right? So promoting alcoholism and then playing rap music with short phrases over and over again would surely break down somebody's identity and give them a new one that you can control, one that you can trap.
Someone told me to watch this clip.
If you want to be successful, you want to be like Trump, gimme, push, step, crush. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for 36 million and we got people starving in the streets. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants. Even if you earned it, you still owe. But I mean, can you imagine somebody having $32 million? $32 million. And this person has nothing? And you can sleep? You can still go to the movie? These are the type of people that get humanitarian awards. Millionaires. How can they be humanitarians? By the fact that they're millionaires and there's so many poor people shows how unhumane they are. I think there is a way. It just takes to be revolutionary. I know you got $40 billion, but can you just keep it to one house? You only need one house. And if you only got 2 kids, can you just keep it to 2 rooms? I mean, why have 52 rooms and you know there's somebody with no room? It just don't make sense to me.
McDonald's USA, McDonald's UK. This one is potato, which is wonderful. Vegetable oil, canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, natural beef flavor, whatever that is, dextrose, sodium acid, polyphosphate, salt, fried in vegetable oil, blend with citric acid, and dimethyl polysiloxane, whatever that is. Lord alive, help us, right? Look at this over here. McDonald's fries in the UK. Potatoes. Oh, they both got potatoes. vegetable oil, dextrose, fried in non-hydrogenated vegetable oil. Salt is added after cooking. So unbelievable. Can you imagine the same company? Look at this. Are they trying to do something to us? Why do they have to add all of this stuff in American? So when the same company in the UK can produce it basically with potatoes and some oil. How amazing is that? Come on, folks. I am so pumped up about our future. We are taking this country. We're making it healthy again. We're going to empower people to make quality choices. As a matter of fact, what should you be frying in? You should be frying in things like chosen avocado oil. You should be frying in ghee. You should be frying in things like coconut oil. Like, share, and follow.
Correct. His Hebrew name is Yahusha, not Yeshua. According to the Hebrew letters themselves, it shows you this. The letters in Hebrew used to spell the word Yeshua is Yod, He, Vav, Shin, Ayin. Yhusha. If his name was Yeshua or Yahshua, then it would be Yod, He, Shin, Vav, Ayin. But that's not the word that's being spelled here. The word is Yahusha. And when you break it down, Yah is I am, who the Creator declares himself to be. I am that I am. Hayah Asher Hayah. I am that I am. And Husha, without the Masoretic vowel points, is Hosea. And Husha, Hosea, means salvation, deliverance. So Yahusha is, I am he who brings salvation. Yeshua, according to the Talmudists, is an acronym for may his name and memory be blotted out. That's not something we want to call the Creator, is it? If you guys have any more questions, put it in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Shalom.
You become like what you hate. You become like what you respond to. Therefore, if you become like what you respond to, you are growing in conflict with yourself, and that's called conscience. And the problems of the world, let me tell you what the whole problem of the world is.
Oh, please
that
don't.
All of the problems of the world, all the misery and all the suffering and all the agony and all the diseases and all the wars and all the guilts come from not listening to what we know as right in our hearts, but listening, responding like the serpent in the Garden of Eden, responding to the outside voices, outside
Let me ask you about that. If it's true, as you say, that
if it's true, can't you recognize it?
If it's true that all the problems of the world will be solved by people listening to the voice within themselves, why do they have to...
Not a voice. No, intuitive knowing that we're born with.
Fine. Then
and this culture
true,
rushes in to take its place. Culture, it's not... You see, the vested interest of culture, the people who want to control you, they want you to doubt yourself. They want you not believe in yourself. For example, they can take your constitution away if you don't believe you have it. If you own a car, and I can convince you you don't have it, if I can make you doubt that you own your car, I can take your car away.
Are you a hypnotist? Let's get back to the voice within. You're trying to duck this question. You said...
I never duck any question.
You said that all...
You're ducking the answer.
You said that all the problems of the world would be solved if people listen to the voice within. And if that's true, why do they need to buy your tapes? Why do they need to hear your voice, Mr. Masters?
First of all, it's not the voice within you need to listen to.
Oh,
when a man is blind, he needs a voice to guide him. He needs a pattern of direction.
Your voice?
And
your voice?
But wait for it. Wait for it.
Get
Take
to the
it
point.
easy.
No, we got a short
Don't
show
jump
here.
to conclusions. Your intellect is rushing ahead. You're trying to think for me. You're trying to put words into my mouth.
Mr. Masters, let me ask you a question based, I think, rationally, I hope rationally.
Let me finish the answer.
Wait just a minute. Let me ask you this. This is an important question because I'm basing it on what you just said. How can a person listen to the voice within when that voice within must have been inspired from things without? I mean, you're not born with the knowledge of conscience.
That shows you how much you know. It shows you how far you've fallen from reality, that you don't even know that you have an intuitive knowing. Let me tell you something, my friend, that every human being in the world is born with the same knowing. I can meet a person from Timbuktu, and we are like brothers, because if we're not influenced by culture and destroyed by culture, we are children of the same lights. Therefore, we have the same idea of manners, the same idea of grace, the same sense of fairness.
That's not true at all. That's absolute garbage.
Society destroys that. and makes little zombies, psychotic zombies out of us. And my job is to bring people back to that inner knowing.
That's not true.
And everybody's looking for that. Everybody in the world, except people like yourself, is not looking for that. You're making fun. You're doing the same thing as they did to Jesus years ago. You're making fun of my Father's truth.
Mr. Masters.
Jesus.
You told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own that not only does it exist, but that we even utilize it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base with Senator Pell.
I just want to repeat before I turn to...
So yes, but we do have all that information.
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
For years, we've been fed a lie so well propagated that it has become a cornerstone of belief for billions of people around the world. But now, it's time to rip off this veil of illusion. Does the name God sound familiar? We know it does, but it shouldn't be familiar. No. We shouldn't think the name God represents the creator of all, because that is false, and it cannot be true under any circumstances. So now, we will unpack the profound question, what's in a name? Specifically, the name of the creator. Why does this matter? Well, because names have power. The creator of all is setting up his new dwelling place. And guess what? Only those with his true name written on them will be allowed in. Have you ever read the book of Mashli, aka Proverbs? It poses a fascinating question in chapter 30, verse 4. It says in part, what is the name of the Creator? And what is the name of his Son? Do you know it? This question has puzzled billions of people for ages, because most people have no clue what the name of the Creator truly is. Yet, we're pulling back the veil today. But right now, you're faced with a dilemma. More than likely, the word God has been deeply ingrained in your consciousness. You probably actually believe the name God means the creator of all. Well, you've been intentionally misled. Once most people find this out, they're either infuriated or overjoyed to learn the truth. Which will you be today? If you simply allow yourself to take a journey through history, you'll learn that the term God didn't originate in any ancient or original text. Think about it. The word God never existed in real scriptural text. It was made up. The word God comes from the Proto-Germanic word Gad, or the European words Gott, Gut, or Gut. The 11th edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica says this about the origins of the word God. The common Teutonic word for a personal object of religious worship applied to all those superhuman beings of the heathen mythologies. The word God, on the conversion of the Teutonic races to Christianity, was adopted as the name of the one supreme being. Did you hear that? It was adopted. A heathen, mythological pagan name
was adopted to replace the name of the Creator of all. This is outrageous. Right about now, your heart should be pounding faster, because we both know that adopted in this case means the name of the Creator of all was intentionally and maliciously changed. Now, why is this problematic? Because the original and ancient Abari, aka Hebrew scriptures, the Creator of all tells us clearly what his name is, and that he wants his name remembered and pronounced forever. He says in Yeshayahu, aka Isaiah 42:8, I am Yahuwah, that is my name, and my esteem I do not give to another, nor my praise to idols. This statement by the Creator, Yahuwah, places most of the world in an immediate dilemma again, because the word God is an absolute idol. Yahuwah says he will not give his esteem, also known as praise or honor, to an idol. So every time you use the word God, you are giving honor and praise to an idol. This is a direct violation of the third commandment, where Yahuwah says, you do not bring the name of Yahuwah, your Eluah, also known as Mighty One, to nothing. For Yahuwah does not leave one unpunished who brings his name to nothing. Every time you say the word God, you not only bring his name to nothing, you exchange his name for an idol, God. This is a direct violation of not only the third commandment, but also a violation of the first and second commandments. Names hold power. They define identity, existence, and purpose. When it comes to the most important name ever, that is the Creator of all, using an inaccurate name isn't just careless. It removes your connection with the Creator and leads you astray. Salvation is found only through the name of Yahuwah. It is crucial to recognize that replacing Yahuwah with God is no accident. This is a calculated move designed to sever our relationship with the true Creator. This isn't a mistake that we can afford to perpetuate any longer. It is our responsibility to correct this intentional misinformation. Start by calling on the name of Yahuwah for salvation and using the name of Yahuwah in your prayers, teachings, and spiritual discussions. And if you're in a position of influence, whether as a teacher, a parent, or a community leader, this is your call to action. Educate those around you. This isn't a minor error. It's a matter of spiritual integrity. Don't just stand by. Be bold and do something about it. You may have lived in ignorance by perpetuating the use of the term God that not only misrepresents the truth, but it intentionally obscures the true representation of the Creator, Yahuwah. Today, right now, is a pivotal moment for you. It's time to stop accepting distortions and half-truths. This isn't just a call to correct a name. This is a call to your greatest spiritual awakening. When you say Yahuwah, you're acknowledging the name that carries the power to change your life immediately and can literally save you for eternity. No more dealing with doctored, mistranslated, or modified versions of scriptures that are predominant in the world today. Stand for the truth. Don't be a bystander in the spiritual erosion that's happened for centuries. Be a bearer of truth, a vanguard of change. Reclaim and proclaim the name of Yahuwah. Every time you use the name of Yahuwah, you defy the deception that's been handed down through generations. And you take a step toward rekindling an authentic relationship with your Creator. Yahuwah loves and cares for you. That is why you are seeing this eternal message right now. Throw away the name God that cannot do anything for you but mislead you. Call on the name above all names, Yahuwah.
Soon. Thursday night. You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
What's the favorite thing you have in common, Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
By the way, your daughter,
She's beautiful.
can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
Yeah, she's hot.
I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know.
Oh, it's so weird.
You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
And the minute I was in there, he shut the door and pushed me up against the wall and bang my head on the wall and kissed me. It was so shocking. I was wearing a coat dress and tights, and he pulled down the tights.
You're saying there was actual penetration. That is the definition of rape. One definition.
That's the definition. Yes.
Oh, you thought Diddy was bad? Well, he is. But you want to meet someone who's arguably worse? Vince McMahon. See, Vince McMahon had a problem. He's currently under federal investigation for misconduct with many women. For those of you that don't know, Vince McMahon is the former owner of the WWE, wrestling stuff. Anyway, you want to hear something wild? Wrestling fans have always known he was an evil psychopath. Why? Because listen closely. He played a character in his own wrestling show so twisted and insane, it became harder and harder for people to think he's acting. For instance, the storyline that involved his daughter. Whatever you think I'm about to say, it's worse. His daughter's a character on the show as well. She plays his daughter. In fact, his whole family plays themselves. They go through many inappropriate things, like at one point, her daughter and her son start palming her mom in front of millions of people. But I think the son just held the mom so she couldn't run away. And anyway, here's where things start to get wicked. In a wrestling promo video, his daughter says, "I've only said no to my father for 2 things. And one of them was he could not be the father of my child in the show." Focus, we not finished. Look at the time. She was married to a wrestler named Triple H in real life. They were having a kid. After they told her dad, Vince McMahon, "No, we're not participating in that story," Vince McMahon then asked, "What if it's your brother?" Her brother and her husband said, "No, Vince." Well, actually, her brother said, "Yeah, I get it. My sister's hot, but I had to turn her down." He actually said this. But he might have said this because, remember, I told you, this is for a wrestling promo. Meaning Vince McMahon put this on air. He put this on television. He wasn't hiding this.
Living behind Hobbs Mall, completely unaware that their lives were about to change forever. They were looking for hidden treasures that they could keep or sell, but this night out quickly turned into an unsettling rescue mission. While the friends were diving into the dumpsters and different trash bags to find valuables, they heard faint cries, and at first they thought it was a kitten hiding somewhere nearby, but they quickly realized it was a different kind of noise. They heard a louder cry coming from another trash bag. Michael grabbed it and set it on the ground, and he noticed that the big black bag was really heavy, way too heavy to be a kitten. So April decided to open it and made a shocking discovery. Behind the mall, in the dumpster, the friends found a newborn baby boy with his umbilical cord still attached, abandoned in the cold. The temperature was only 36 degrees. They tried all they could to keep the baby as warm as possible, holding him in their arms, waiting for the paramedics and police to arrive. The baby boy was wrapped in a pink bath towel that was completely soaked in After taking notes of his appearance, light complexion with dark hair, and just his general health state, the officer sent him to Covenant Health Hospital. The baby boy was suffering symptoms of hypothermia, but who on earth could do such a horrible thing, and why? Now, luckily enough, the dumpsters were covered by surveillance cameras from a nearby store. Investigators quickly used the footage to help them identify who did this. They finally noticed a car suspected of being involved, and the footage went.
There is a group of people living amongst us who walk like us, talk like us, and act like us, but they say they are different. They don't believe in the United States, and they say they're independent from our country's government.
Well, are they smart? Are they crazy? Are they dangerous? Fox 8's Mitch Carr has this report on sovereign citizens. You can decide for yourself.
We're all born sovereigns. We're all born free.
The idea of sovereignty is there's no jurisdiction, there's nothing above me.
They decided to check out from federal and state laws.
Realism, true facts never get in the way of this movement.
The word sovereign means possessing supreme or ultimate power, and getting into the movement begins with a tangible declaration.
I, James Ronald of the Peggs family, am a natural, freeborn sovereign without subjects.
Jim Peggs is one of about 300,000 Americans the FBI classifies as sovereign citizens, though Peggs doesn't like that term because citizen means subject of.
I am not in any jurisdiction, for I'm not a subject status.
The only laws he observes are those he agrees to follow, discarding those he says aren't legitimate.
No such laws, nor their enforcers, have any authority over me.
He's put his reasons down on paper in this declaration, filed with the Guilford County Register of Deeds 6 years ago.
Is a way of being very much in tune with our original documents, the Constitution, the Declaration, and declaring our rights back. In other words, I'm canceling all false contracts.
On a football field, there are sidelines, there are rules, there are referees, and that's the only thing that keeps it from being a melee, a ruckus. So if you have a contingent out there that believes that all of the rule book just doesn't apply to them, that's a problem whether it's in society or a football game. Either way, it creates chaos.
Greensboro Detective Corey Flowers and his partner Rob Finch are the experts on this movement. When the FBI and other departments need to understand these self-separatists, they call the Greensboro Police Department.
I wouldn't call it a cult because with a cult you have one charismatic leader.
The most common way police run into sovereigns is through traffic stops. Sovereigns don't like those.
I believe that the government is misusing these officers to raise money. So instead of being a protector of society, they are harassing society.
The items on this table are proof that some people in this movement have exited society, and in some cases, reality.
Mailed the original citation back to the trooper and writing refusal for cause on it, basically saying, I don't accept your contract. This is signed by Hillary Clinton, so I think we can, on its face, get rid of this. These are not vanity tags. They put them on the back and blatantly drive them to city streets.
This stuff looks official. It's not.
It's fraudulent, not worth the paper it's printed on.
They believe these items are more legitimate than what you and I get from the DMV or from the federal government.
But it costs you $2 to make it, and these guys sell them for $150.
And if public officials interfere with these governments of one, there are consequences.
If they want to go out and sell property, this could become a problem.
In the Guilford County Register of Deeds office, you'll find dozens of property liens and lawsuits filed by sovereigns against public figures.
Guilford County DA has an $800 million lien filed against them. Our clerk of court, $800 million lien. 2 local law firms, $1 billion in liens. Bank of America, $200 billion. They got off easy.
We're trying to stay within the law. We're trying to stay nonviolent.
And some officers who just literally aren't trained up and don't know better often will, they'll derelict their duty because they're afraid of getting sued and getting liens on their property.
Laugh all you want at a multi-million-dollar lien or lawsuit. Guilford County District Court Judge Tom Gerald did until he nearly missed the chance to refinance his house.
Phone rings and it's the closing attorney, and he says, well, Judge, I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is we've got you locked into that low rate. The bad news is you've got a $70 million lien against you.
Judge Gerald eventually got that figured out, and as of December 1st, it's a felony in North Carolina to file a false lien. Pegg sees it as a loss in the battle to be truly free. That's a battle that involves all of us, whether or not we choose to fight it.
I'm not representing any particular group. I don't have any axe to grind. I'm just, like thousands of people across the country, concerned about why things aren't the way they're supposed to be.
In Greensboro, Mitch Carr, Fox 8 News.
Jim Peggs said his goal is not to turn anyone into a sovereign in his image. The point is to get people asking questions and looking into these things for themselves.
what could be more irrelevant than even acknowledging his name and using a title that is shared by Satan? People literally say his name is the Lord, but that's not his name. That's a title. The title of the Lord comes from Old English, and it is one who had a rank in the highest class. They had control over a portion of land granted from a king. This is a title that's used for many people and is still used to this day. I mean, the upper house of parliament of the United Kingdom is called the House of Lords. Or what about that witchcraft book turned movie turned TV series, The Lord of the Rings? Or the man that was in charge of the Rothschild family called Lord Jacob Rothschild. When we say the Lord, we are not calling on his name. And to add even more clarity to this, the word Lord in Hebrew refers to Baal, the Canaanite pagan god that goes back to the prince of the air, the universal god of fertility, the prince or lord of the earth. Baal is synonymous with Satan and is a part of a number of other names of false gods, worshipped by the pagan nations that were against ancient Israel. Names like Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, Baal-gad, Lord of Luck, etc. You get the point. The Hebrew word Baal means Lord. Don't forget that the people who created the English language, the Anglo-Saxons, they were pagans. So much of the language is influenced by paganism. So using his name as the Lord, it's absolutely ridiculous. And here's the thing, we know that this is not what the scriptures originally said. If we go to the Jewish Encyclopedia, volume 12, 1901 to 1905, they explain the Tetragrammaton. And they explain how many times the actual name of our Father was written in the scriptures by those who wrote them. His name, written like this, was written almost 6,000 times. But because of the ineffable name doctrine, the translators of the King James Bible used the ineffable name doctrine, and anywhere his name was written, they replaced it with the title, the Lord. Now listen, I do cover this topic more in depth in this video about the ineffable name doctrine if you want to look into it more deeply. But understand, this doctrine and culture of not saying his name is not the culture of Yasharel. It is the culture of nations of people that do not know our Father and that he did not personally deal with. It's their culture, and the reason for this culture is because in the long run, Satan's goal is to be like the Most High. So as he has people thinking that they are serving the God of the Bible, he then introduced other doctrines that detours them away from the word and leads them to him. And that's why the Lord and God are easy to use, because no one really knows exactly who you're referring to. People don't know. You could say you serve the Lord to a Satanist, and they could be like, yeah, hey, me too. People from different faiths can say, praise God, and you don't even know who they're referring to. Do you know what the word for God is in Portuguese? Deus. Look at this word. Where do you think it comes from? Yeah, Zeus. When they are saying, praise Deus, it's really praise Zeus. You see, there is a wicked agenda in this world about moving the world into worship of Satan over Yahuwah. And the name is a big part of the deception. And what you need to understand is that Satan already had the rest of the world worshiping him. What his desire is to have Yah's chosen people. He wants them worshiping him. And that's why he's provided confusion. And the name is a big part of the deception. You see, when you say you serve the Lord, people don't know who you're actually speaking of. I mean, they might assume, but no one really knows. Just because your pastor or your leader says they serve the Lord or God, you don't actually know who they are actually serving. The Lord is not his name. He says, I am Yahuwah. That is my name. And my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. That's Isaiah chapter 42, verse 8. So imagine us giving his glory to Zeus or Baal. Now here's the thing. I understand that this part is not understood by all that are in the awakening, and it does take time. But it's absolutely unacceptable for those who claim to be leaders of our awakening to be a part of this transgression and claim that they are awakening our people and teaching our people who they are. This cannot be accepted. Yahuwah did not breathe life back into us for us to follow the example of those who he hid his name from, following those who he sanctified his name from. Do you understand the culture of Yasharel? I mean, they incorporated Yahuwah's name into everything. Yahudah, which we know as Judah, meaning worshippers of Yahuwah. Yirmiyahu, which we know as Jeremiah, his name means Yahuwah will rise. Yeshayahu, who we know as Isaiah, that means Yahuwah has saved. Zechariah, which we know as Zechariah, meaning Yahuwah has remembered. Mattatyahu, which we know as Matthew, meaning gift of Yahuwah. And of course, most importantly, our Messiah, Yahusha, meaning Yahuwah is salvation. And let me just add, Hallelujah, meaning praise Yahuwah. This is the culture of Yasharel. Their love and honor of Yahuwah made them incorporate his name into their daily lives and their names. It's the culture. So please examine this. As Yahuwah prophesied that he will revive us and breathe life back into us, do you honestly think that this wouldn't include one of the most important and essential pieces to this awakening? That important part being knowing specifically the name of our Creator and being able to call upon him and praise him? Knowing our Creator had a name and that we should call on it, that was one of the biggest awakenings in my spiritual life, and it brought me closer to our Father. I mean, think about these scriptures. Oh, magnify Yahuwah with me, and let us exalt his name together. Psalm chapter 34, verse 3. I will praise Yahuwah according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of Yahuwah Most High. Psalm chapter 7, verse 17. O Yahuwah, our Yahuwah, how excellent is your name in all the earth. Psalm chapter 8, verse 9. I will be glad and rejoice in you. I will sing praise to your name, O Most High. And those who know your name will put their trust in you. For you, Yahuwah, have not forsaken those who seek you. Psalm chapter 9, verse 2 and 10. For you are my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for your name's sake, lead me and guide me. Psalm chapter 31, verse 3. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. Psalm chapter 33, verse 21. It is good to give thanks to Yahuwah and to sing praises to your name, O Most High. Psalm chapter 92, verse 1. How can any of us do any of this while refusing to say his name? I mean, do you know how many times we are told to proclaim or call upon his name? And in that day, you will say, praise Yahuwah, call upon his name, declare his deeds among the peoples, make mention that his name is exalted. Isaiah chapter 12, verse 4. Oh, give thanks to Yahuwah, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the peoples. Psalm chapter 105, verse 1. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahuwah Elohai. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 9. You see, this is what he desires for us to do, to call upon his name, to proclaim his name. That's our culture. That's what he desires us to do. It's how we differentiated ourselves from the gods of the other nations. Like in 1 Kings, when we get to the test of Elijah, he says, then you call on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of Yahuwah. And the God who answers by fire, he is God. So all the people answered and said, it is well spoken. 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 24. And who won that test? Yahuwah did. You see, there was a difference, and it was known by their names. So in this dry bones awakening, do you honestly think that our Father, who is reviving his people, telling his people who they are, and breathing life back into them, do you honestly think that our Father, who is reviving his people, is telling them to just forget his name, to share it with Baal? Don't worry about making his name great and knowing in all the earth he doesn't care about it anymore? By us not proclaiming his name is one major reason why the Trinity doctrine is able to be spread, because people don't truly know and understand who it is that they're coming to serve and submit to. They're submitting to Yahuwah, the God of Yasharel, through the Messiah Yahusha. They don't know his name, and people don't know truly who they serve. Now, for the other nations, they don't really understand the culture of Yasharel. I get it. And we must have patience, and we teach them so they understand. This is something that may not be understood as a priority to them because they don't really have the example of what pure reverence and honor to Yahweh looks like. But for those who claim that they are an awakened dry bone of Yasharel, and they are teachers and leaders of this awakening, if you do not understand the importance of our Father's name, I'm sorry to say, but our Father did not call you or awaken you. I'm talking to the leaders. He doesn't share his glory. He makes it very specific who he is and who we are serving. In these last days, we are preparing for Yahweh to gather us and bring us back to him. We should be the ones who are coming back to our culture, coming back to our heritage. And if your leader or teacher is not making it a priority to call upon the name of Yahweh, but still wants you to refer to him by a title, the Lord, and submit to the false doctrine of the ineffable name, you should really question who they're serving. Now listen, be clear, there's a reason why Masons can't and won't say his name. That's why you should test them. It's because they cannot say it. They live in deception, and it's absolutely one reason why you won't hear his name off their tongues. They don't have the spiritual authority to do so, and if they do play that game, they have problems coming to them. There are other ministers who may not be Masons, but because they are trapped in complacency and pride, they also promote attaching to this culture of our oppressors and not proclaiming his name. Many are stubborn and prideful and don't feel that they need to do this change. And guess what? Because they feel like this, their members and those that follow them, they defend that behavior instead of recognizing that these men are holding them spiritually back. It is my personal opinion, this is personal opinion, that most of these leaders who claim to be awakened Israelites, who know who we are, but still refuse to proclaim our Father's name, and still live under the influence of Hellenization using the Greek influenced name of our Messiah, I personally believe that they're deceivers. That's me personally. This awakening comes with coming back to our culture. And the beginning of this culture is serving Yahuwah. And how can you serve him if you don't even want to proclaim his name and show the rest of the world how to do so as well? I will not listen to any leader that says they know who we are, but still practices the ineffable name doctrine. But guess what? They don't say that they're practicing the doctrine. You know that they're practicing the doctrine because they call him the Lord. Be clear. If your pastor or your teacher is still using the Lord, they are subscribed to the ineffable name doctrine. Period.
Yahuwah created evil. This universe cannot exist with only good. It is governed by a design of polarity. Hydrogen requires both a proton, positive atom, and an electron, negative atom, to be itself. You mess with that, it's no longer hydrogen in the atomic sense. One proton and one electron equals hydrogen. Couple that with oxygen and you get water, H2O. As it is written in Isaiah 45 verses 7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahuwah, do all these things. The evil reference here is not moral wickedness, but rather calamity, judgment, disaster, and correction. Yahuwah is righteous, for no unrighteousness dwells in him. Yet he created both blessing and destruction to fulfill his sovereign purposes. Good cannot be understood without the contrast of evil. Peace cannot be known without the existence of conflict. Order cannot be established without the possibility of chaos. Thus, polarity exists, but always under the supreme authority of Yahuwah alone. If I told you Yahuwah is not perfect, I would expect, rightfully so, for all of you to stone me for blasphemy. But if we agree that Yahuwah is perfect, then what he speaks in his word is not only true, it is absolutely right. By definition, water is perfect because Yahuwah created it, complete in its pure form with positively and negatively charged molecules. What corrupts water is not Yahuwah's creation, but man's interference. Chemicals such as fluoride, chlorine, heavy metals, pesticides, and industrial runoff. These poisons pervert what was once pure, just as sin perverts the soul. The fault is not with Yahuwah's design, but with man's rebellion against it.
The media told you it was just spontaneous outrage. Just regular people upset about immigration raids in Los Angeles. But now we know that is all a lie. Because the LAPD just admitted who's really behind the ICE riots. And the truth is explosive. This is Kyle Becker with Explain America. Before we get into the story, please like, comment, and share so that we can advance common sense journalism in this country. Here's what we know. LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell just confirmed what many suspected, that the LA riots are being driven by professional agitators.
But when I look at the people who are out there doing the violence, That's not the people that we see during the day who are legitimately out there exercising their First Amendment rights and to be able to express their feelings about the immigration enforcement issue. These are people who are all hooded up. They've got a hoodie on. They've got face masks on. They're people who do this all the time, get away with whatever they can, go out there, from one civil unrest situation to another, using the same or similar tactics frequently, and they are connected. Some would call them anarchists or by any other variety of names, but they're people that we run across routinely city to city, and this is what they do. So even more disgusting that many of the people who are doing this come in from other places just to hurt people and to cause havoc.
He said, when I look at the people who are out there doing the violence, that's not the people we see during the day. These are people who are all hooded up. They've got face masks on. They're people who do this all the time. They go from one civil unrest situation to another. They are connected. Someone called them anarchists, unquote. Well, I would call them communists, like Antifa. And this isn't organic, it's coordinated. Trump recently said there would be no more masks allowed at violent riots. Good. And then there's this, a damning report that LA Mayor Karen Bass, a communist organizer by training, interfered with law enforcement operations early on that would have helped suppress the riots. Furthermore, the account Data Republican broke down the groups that the receipts suggest are fueling the chaos. The Coalition for Immigration Rights, or CHIRLA, raking in over $34 million in government grants. The Party for Socialism and Liberation, who literally printed the sign seen at protests. They're not even a nonprofit. They're a self-declared communist party. Behind it all, Neville Roy Singham, a billionaire socialist accused of funding CCP-linked propaganda networks all over the world. Singham has poured tens of millions of dollars into radical groups like the Answer Coalition and the People's Forum, both of which are linked to the Columbia University campus takeover. Now, the receipts show that this isn't speculation. These groups and funders are now behind the riots in LA, and they're at the very least supporting them. Also, there's another group, the Million Voters Project, that help promote the protests as well. So these are not completely grassroots demonstrations. This is a political op. It is paid for and executed by far-left radicals who want to burn down America's immigration system, have open borders, and just have free reign on the American public. President Trump sent in the National Guard and the Marines for a reason, and now you see why. This has been Kyle Becker with Explain America. Please.
In America, we got 158 million people. They wake up the same time every day. They drive to get coffee from the same place every day and stand in a long line because they're rushing to get there. They go to work at the same time. They go to lunch at the same time. They get off at the same time. They get back on the highways. They do this 5 days a week for 40 years and they're still broke. How do you trick that many people into doing that? School. I had a parent-teacher conference today. My daughter, she's doing horrible. I asked the English teacher, what am I supposed to tell my daughter? I said, my daughter speaks very well. She really does. She does. She came to me and she asked me, why do I need to know what a noun is? That's a good question. And I said, because the school says you need to do it. She said, well, don't you think they could be teaching us like what a balance sheet is or what tax bracket we're going to be in? I'm not saying it's not relevant, but couldn't they be doing something better with our time? No, because they need you on a highway grinding 5 days a week for 40 years and staying broke.